Well, we were actually wrong. It's not the first time, and it certainly won't be the last.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, or electrical job, and get fast shipping from coast to coast at SupplyHouse.com. With me, as usual, is my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian.
Stacey, a series win feels really strange, especially at Fenway Park.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the series coming up. But first, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer to listen to us on. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when those videos go live. So we're going to preview the series against the Phillies. That's coming up quickly.
Tough one.
We'll discuss everything you need to know about the Jazz Chisholm trade. But first, like Brian said, the Yankees not only won a series, but they won a series in Boston.
Yeah, it feels like we haven't seen this in years, especially behind good pitching. It feels like Rodon doesn't pitch well there ever. Really, Saturday was an interesting game, back and forth. It felt like, I don't want to say this too early because it doesn't feel like it should be said too early, but Saturday feels like a confidence-building type of turning win because that's the type of game they have lost the last 2 months. The back and forth, Red Sox keep answering, and eventually you lose that game.
It's the game they lost the night before.
Yeah, exactly. And it feels like that kind of game that you keep on losing and you never really recover from. And they went up coming away with it. The clutch hit with 2 outs late in the game to tie the game and then to win it in the 10th. Really proud of that effort from the team. You got to really, like, if you're a Yankee fan, really look at that effort and really enjoy that, because especially you got a bad start out of Stroman. You really didn't get a great start out of Stroman, and you still found a way to win that game. Something this team has not done over the last 2 months at all. So you got to be proud of that. And then the win earlier tonight, if you guys are watching on the live stream, you hear from us, right? It was a purely dominant, in-control game, and it really feels like we haven't seen one of those games in 2 months. Where we haven't seen a game where it feels like all their wins over the last 2 months, all 11 of them, have been very, really close-sided, close games where, they win it close, the other team's not scoring, all that kind of stuff. And this is a game where 8-2 victory, you dominated the entire game, Yankees had 10 hits, only 1 error, the Red Sox booted the ball around, and you really controlled the game. And you showed them you look like the better team out there tonight. And you haven't seen a lot of the Yankees. I think this is a series you can build a lot of confidence out of. The problem is, Stacey, you're going into a series now against Philadelphia, a team that can easily flip that confidence back around for you. So it's not really, it's not a good opportunity to really build off this series, but nonetheless, it's a series win in a time where it hasn't felt like they've won a series, especially going into this Boston series. It felt like they had no chance to win this series.
Well, the Phillies have been reeling a bit lately, so maybe that'll play in the Yankees' favor, and home
they just lost 2 of 3 to Cleveland too.
Yeah. I wanted to say one other thing about the extra inning win that the Yankees had.
Yeah.
First time since April 6th against the Diamondbacks, which feels like 5 years ago.
Yeah, literally. Wow, that was the second series of the year, right?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, extra innings. My first thought was, and extra innings on the road. I'm like, oh
yeah.
no.
The road is the toughest spot because it feels like with the Manfred runner, it feels like you need 2 runs in the extra inning to really solidify yourself and feel confident going forward. Whereas you score 1 run, it feels like you're going to lose the game, and it really has been that sense for the Yankees over the last since really the start of the season. Again, I don't want to sit here and tell you that this is a series-changing type of win, right? Or a season-changing type of win. It's a really solid win. You take 2 out of 3 from Boston. It's really what you would have expected, right? It's a really good, solid, freaking series win. Sorry. The problem that I have with this is the comments that I'm seeing in the and here right here with the Jazz Chisholm trade, and we're going to get into the second segment. Here's the thing, Stacey. They're going to make other moves. If you're going into this deadline thinking that the Jazz Chisholm trade is the last move that they're going to make, that can't be correct. That's not a move that you make where that's your only move.
No, that's not.
They're going to make plenty of other moves. They're going to be active. They have 3 more days now to be active in this deadline. That's not their last move. And also, that is not a trade that you make with a guy with years left of arbitration available to himself. He's got plenty of time left on contract availability. It's a cheaper contract that he has on him with his arbitration number. I think in the last year is projected in the next year projected to be $5 million. The year after that projected to be $7 million. Not too high. It allows you to keep a guy like that and sign Soto. So I think there was a strategy behind making that deal. But also, it's not a deal you make with a guy that could control if you're going to just make that deal and give up for the rest of the trade deadline. They're going to make other moves. I think you may not love the Chisholm trade. You may not love the player. But what you can love is the fact that a deal like that means they're going to be more in and they're going to be moving forward to make more deals. I think that's important to view.
We have a very special guest here right now, host of Locked On Padres, Javi. Thank you for oh wait, no, that's not Javi. I'm sorry. I'm mistaking that person for someone else. Sorry. I'm dog sitting right now and I'm extremely tired. People with dogs, let me know how you do this because
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting having a dog. She's only like a year old too, so she's still young,
full energy.
So full of energy, and I'm too old for this. I'm exhausted. So yeah. Anyway, Saturday night I didn't really watch the game because I was here getting ready for dog sitting. So I was keeping track on my phone. And when I was seeing what was happening, I was like, well, I can't put the phone down now because I have to like figure out what's going on. And yet I watched every single inning on Friday night and tortured myself with that game. That's why I was kind of like, do I really want to sit through this? One, it's a Fox game. You know, you have to listen to John Smoltz the whole
all
time.
day, all night.
But I was also not at my own house and things were happening and it just, you know, I wasn't. Yeah. So I was keeping track on my phone and very excited. And then tonight, sitting here with the new setup in the house that I will be in for a week. So I'm going to have this background for a week. Very exciting. Watching the game on the TV in here. And I feel professional. I'm actually sitting at a desk right now recording.
Full disclosure, Saturday night, I was at the Sammy Hagar concert in New Jersey.
Sammy Hagar?
Yeah, he was doing all of his old school Van Halen hits as like a tribute to Eddie Van Halen. It was a great show, unbelievable. And I was keeping track on my phone as well. And watching it on the phone, and I was more keeping track with the MLB.com updates. And truth be told, it really felt like a game they were going to lose watching the entire, because you kept looking at your phone and it was 5-3, then it was 5-4, then it was 5-5, then it was 6-5, then it was 6-6. They kept tying it up where like, this is a game they're going to blow. This is the game that all year they're going to blow, especially now that it's into the bullpen. This is a game they're going to give up. It was exactly like the game Friday night. Yep. And you felt somehow, some way, they're going to find a way to lose this game. And they didn't. And that's what gave me confidence after that start. And it's not, I went back and I watched the game earlier today, and it was a really competitive, fun-spirited game. And Saturday was a game that if they had just played 500 ball throughout the rest of, from this period of time where they won 11 games and they were terrible, if it was just 500 ball, that was a game Saturday night where you felt like, oh, great game, fun game, back and forth, all the fun in the world, enjoyable. They won the game, great, and move on.
Right. Whereas
they come out of that game where they've been playing so terribly, and now you feel like, oh, that's a momentum-changing game. That's a momentum-shifting game. They stuck together. You didn't think you were going to see that. You haven't seen it from them really. That kind of fight you haven't seen from them all season. I love the fact that you saw it here. And then, again, Sunday's win is just I can't believe how dominant they looked. Because it was pure domination that from the start of the game. Red Sox didn't field proper. They didn't pitch well. Yankees were hitting bombs off of them. Rodon really only had the one bad inning, and other than that, he was dominant throughout the entire start, which is now 2 starts in a row that you've seen really good starts out of Rodon. A lot of, which is weird coming into the series, me and you both were on lockstep that we didn't think they had a chance of looking competitive going into the series, and they looked more than competitive in this series.
Yeah, they scored a lot.
Yeah.
They scored
which
a lot.
They haven't done in a while.
In every game, they scored a lot. So
against a team that pitches well.
Right. Against a couple of pitchers that they had issues with earlier in the season. Cutter Crawford remember what he did the last time he faced the
Oh
Yankees
yeah,
at Yankee Stadium? It was completely embarrassing. So for them to get those runs off him right away was really good. So yeah, glad it worked out this way. And because of that, I actually now have a little more confidence about them going into the Phillies series, which we will preview in segment 3. But
of
first,
course.
because we have to do segment 2 before that, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. We do a thing called Fan Mail Friday if you're a newbie, and we leave a pinned comment under our videos Monday through Thursday, and you put your questions there. And if they're not repeats, and if, because sometimes you guys ask the same questions, we will put you on the show. It's really great. But there's also a way that you can do it. We have an Insiders Club. There's a 14-day free trial. You sign up, you get texts from us. I texted out the lineup with Chisholm in it to show everyone, here he is. He's made it. And you get texts from us, all different types, roster moves, trades, obviously, because that'll be happening over the next few days. And we have a blast. And if you're in the Insiders Club, you get top priority on Fan Mail Friday. So that's fun. Coming up, everything you need to know about the Jazz Chisholm trade. Excuse me.
You know that instant confidence boost you get from an outfit that makes you look really good? That's what I get with Stitch Fix. I just give my stylist my size, style, and budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want. No subscriptions are required. And they send 5 just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and pro styling advice. I keep what works and send back the rest. And if you don't love something, just send it back. Shipping, returns, exchanges, they're always free. Style that makes you feel as good as you look. Get started today at stitchfix.com/MLB and get $20 off your first fix. That's stitchfix.com/MLB for $20 off. stitchfix.com/MLB. Must redeem within 7 days of sign up. And welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Locked On Sports Today is a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the noise. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And don't forget that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Stacey, I know this one hits at the heartstrings because your boy Jared Cerna was traded. But I do want to break down the Jazz Chisholm trade. Again, as I mentioned in the first segment, I love them. I love this trade being the first one they make of the deadline because it's not a I guess, quote unquote, banger kind of move where it's this top tier player that you think, all right, this is all they need and they're all in. It's a move where it's a really good depth piece. It's a really nice player, but it also shows this is nowhere near a move that they're done with. And it makes me feel like this is the first of many, which gives me a lot of confidence as a Yankee fan. I want to hear from you first on how you feel about the trade, how he fits, and then we'll get into the return.
I like that he plays multiple positions because they need guys to play multiple positions. Yeah. It was rumored for a few days, and there were stories coming out like, the Yankees aren't sure because how is he going to fit in the clubhouse? And I was just like, who is saying this stuff? Like, it's so annoying. I can't stand articles like that because the Yankees have had other guys who you don't think are going to fit in the clubhouse, and they're perfectly fine.
Yeah,
like really, it's not like the days of Reggie Jackson with the straw that stirs the drink and pissing everyone off in the dugout. Like, we haven't really had someone like that in a really long time. Like, as much as people always were on A-Rod, his teammates loved him. And, so that's just always so silly to me. But I like this move. I'm a little bummed about both Augustin Ramirez and Jared Cerna Cerna was my boy. That was my one, because I was finally like getting into knowing prospects and knowing names, and I'd keep up with him at Hudson Valley and get all excited when he did things. And, he probably will have a better time getting through the Marlins system than he would the Yankee system. So this is a good opportunity for him, and it's a good opportunity also for Agustin Ramirez.
He did have Agustin Ramirez really good numbers this year, but when it comes to rankings, all these guys were lower ranked prospects in the Yankees overall system,
right?
Which gives you a little better hope. It's like people like us who watch the show consistently every single day, and us who cover the team every single day. We know how good these guys actually are, but they are lower ranked prospects in the whole system, which gives you a little more confidence when it comes to it. It is a little bit to give up, but Jazz Chisholm is an above average major leaguer, which if you guys have been watching, the Yankees have only had 2 of them in their lineup all year.
Until this weekend.
Until this weekend, exactly.
Yeah.
So, he's played really well this year. He's been above average player this year. His OPS is about 100 points above an average player in the whole league, which is, again, exactly what they need to plug into the middle of their lineup. And I think they know they're not one above average player away from being an awesome team that's so much better, right? They know they need more than that. So I think that does help them also. A 249 batting average, a 323 on base. He has 13 home runs, although there was a stat out there that if all of his home games were played at Yankee Stadium instead of Marlins Stadium or Marlins Park, he would have 19 home runs this year instead of 13. So you are getting a little more that lefty bat. He does have a tendency to pull the ball a lot, so that short porch could be a really good benefit to him. He's also really fast on the bases, and he likes to create havoc on the bases. And he's very well aware. You did see late in the game today, or last night, the stolen base at the third base, where he noticed that Devers was not paying attention, and he went ahead and took third base. That's a really positive sign if you're a Yankee fan, because have we seen that level of awareness from any other player on the team this year?
Not really.
No. And he went out there and he took third base. Devers wasn't covering, and he you need that on the bases. It's not just that move, taking third base and being on third base. Yeah, that's great, and we can acknowledge that. What really is great about a move like that is the fact that you're creating chaos. You're creating things in the base path, because later on in that inning, there was the error. Devers made the error at third base. You create more chaos. You create more noise. You create more things going on. That's how you manufacture runs out of nothing. And the Yankees have had trouble doing that all year. Also, this crazy stat, Stacey, that I don't know if any Yankee fans out there realize. Jazz Chisholm has only grounded out into 11 double plays in his entire career. Not this year. His entire career. And that's extremely beneficial, because it feels like all the Yankees do is ground out to double plays. So you're getting a guy that doesn't really ground out double plays. I don't hate batting him fifth either. I think it was all really consensus that he would bat first. I don't hate him batting fifth at all. I feel like a guy in the middle of the lineup, he's going to get on base, and at bare minimum, he's not going to cause one out there. I don't hate that move either.
Yeah, that wasn't, that lineup wasn't anything terrible when it went out. I was like, all right, this is interesting. And hey, it worked, because they scored 8 runs. So that's always a good thing. He does have some injury concerns. He played a career high of 124 in 2021. But since then, in order, 60 games in 2022, 97 in 2023, and so far he's appeared in 102 games this season, because we have to add that number because of Sunday night. He was an all-star in 2022, and then he got hurt. Like we said, Boone had told reporters that he would like to see him take grounders at third just to test things out. And I think Oswaldo Cabrera took that personally. Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to end up doing that. It feels like a position, like he doesn't play third base a lot. He's not been there a lot in his career. And, you can move guys around at first base in the outfield. Third base is a position that's really hard to just plug someone into that hasn't played there a lot. A lot of hot balls hit off third base. That's not a position. I think there's going to be a move for a third baseman, to be quite honest with you. That's what it feels like.
I think so too. I think maybe they're saying that to not make Gleyber feel like he's going anywhere, because Jazz plays second base. So also, the third base thing, A-Rod comes in. I'll play third. And who works with him? Greg Nettles, one of the best defensive third basemen ever on planet Earth helped A-Rod out. And A-Rod was pretty good at third base.
A-Rod's also a top 10 player in the history of the sport. So it's kind of hard to use that as a...
No, but the point was Greg Nettles had to come in and help him do that.
Yeah.
He didn't just come in and say,
You're right.
I'll play third base. Because remember when he tried to play first base, how horrifically bad that was? So, yeah.
Yeah, it does feel like there's a move coming with Glaber involved in it. I just feel like it's time to move on from him, and it might be a good move for them to make. And then you move Jazz over to second, especially because of the fact that they're really he's got team control. I mean, Jazz Chisholm is under control for the next 2 years after this. So you're talking 2025 and 26 at really cheap salaries. I think that's a real reason to keep him. Which means this move solidifies they're not re-signing Glaber after this year, which I think they kind of have made their mind up already. So why not move him and make a position player available? I do feel like there's a really good chance too that they make a move for a third baseman and they move on from DJ.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Probably in the sense he's going to be DFA'd more than likely.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, coming up next, previewing that Yankees-Phillies series, the first two matchups, pretty good.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next. I knew I was going to press the wrong button. This is what happens when we're live. There we go. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. You can shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and you talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades get a competitive edge by joining supplyhouse.com's free Trademaster program. Every Trademaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com. And it's supplyhouse.com/TM for Trademaster. You can order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV Channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every single league that you can think of. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV Channels app. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. There you are. Now look at these matchups. Okay. In the first game, also, wait, let's do this because Brian always likes talking about this. The first two games, 6:40 p.m. start, which is great for us because that means
but I don't get it.
I know, but it's great for us because the game's going to end earlier. So maybe I'll be able to get the episode up by midnight with all the editing. So So Monday, Luis Heel against Zach Wheeler.
Really good matchup. Wheeler's numbers have been terrific this year, if you guys have realized. I mean, Heels have actually tempered a bit since they got inflated after those two bad starts. Heel is now at 10-5 with a 3.10, which is really, really solid for a rookie pitcher. Wheeler 10-4, 2.55, one of the more consistent pitchers over the last really 3 or 4 years now with the Phillies. He's been unbelievably dominant. That's a matchup I think the Yankees will struggle in. Wheeler makes everybody look terrible. So
yeah,
I don't know how to feel about that matchup really. The next one is also really intriguing to me if you want to read that one off too.
Yes. So on Tuesday, another 6:40 start, you have Garrett Cole against Aaron Nola.
Tuesday, Yankee fans, that game is going to be a TBS start. So not a Yes Network game. It'll be a TBS game. This really is a good matchup. I do like seeing Yankees-Phillies a lot. I love watching games at the stadium. Citizens Bank is great. Garrett Cole 3-2 with a 5.40. We keep saying this in Garrett Cole starts. We keep feeling like, oh, wait till his next start. Wait till his next start. He's going to look for a vengeance after having a bad start prior. I don't know if you'll necessarily see that at Garrett Cole again. This Phillies lineup again is really deep, really good. This is the best team in baseball this year so far. They've played really well. And Aaron Nola, 11-4 with a 3.44. Some of the filthiest stuff in all of baseball. Going to be really hard to manufacture runs, put up runs. A 1.06 whip for Aaron Nola. He doesn't let a lot of guys on base. Just a really, really, really solid pitcher. Their rotation is absolutely ridiculous. So it's going to be a really tough series for them.
And then Wednesday, a 12:35 p.m. start.
I'm sure it'll be packed.
Nestor Cortez against Christopher Sanchez.
Yeah, the dreaded Nestor Cortez on the road start, right? 4-9 now with a 4.13. His home ERA has been so much better than his road, although it's a little inflated after the last start. However, him on the road has been just a completely different pitcher. He's been awful on the road all year. Against Christopher Sanchez, who's had a solid season. Not a great year, but 7-6 with a 3.05. That's the kind of ERA and stats the Yankees needed out of Nestor this year, right? Where your offense can really perform and you don't have to worry about having a low ERA. But a sub-3 ERA is exactly what they're looking for in a starter. He's been great. The Phillies have scored runs behind him, and he's 7-6. I mean, he's had a really solid year for them. Going to be really tough for them. This is going to be a really tough series for them. 12:35. If you guys work unconventional jobs where you're off on Wednesday, that might be the ideal game to get to. Won't be a lot of people in the ballpark. You'll be able to get into lower level seats, and the tickets probably be very, very, very cheap to get into.
Unless they also have camp days, and it might be filled.
Might be a camp day. It is an ideal camp day, yeah.
Because that one game that you were wondering about, was it last week where you were like, why are they doing this game? And
it was
there
camp
were
day.
tons of kids
Camp day.
there. Yeah. I like
dreaded
those
camp
days.
day.
I like watching them on TV. I wouldn't like being there.
Not being there. No, you would not want to be there.
No, you would not want to be there. But seeing all the kids in their T-shirts and all the different colored sections basically on TV, that's always a lot of fun. As you can tell, if you're an everydayer, we did not do Minors Monday because of the trade. So Minors Monday has been pushed back to next week because by then all the trades will have been done. So
yeah, and then we'll have a better outlook on what the minor league system looks like at that point too.
Right, because we might see a lot more guys leave and say bye-bye. So
now, in addition, I do want to mention this too. Take into account, apparently a lot of Major League Baseball does not update the minor league systems throughout the season. It's really the start and the end of the season. So keep that in mind too when you see the new minor league rankings that come out. They're probably not going to be overall very accurate. So you do want to keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's another thing too. But as we keep saying throughout this entire show, that's not going to be the only trade. The Yankees need a lot.
Yeah.
And things are going to happen. We know that there were rumblings about certain moves that could possibly be made. I know that there were rumblings about Pete Fairbanks from Tampa.
That's the one you want, right?
I would love that. One, because of the way he pitches, but two, his post-game interviews are like Mike Mussina sarcastic, and I love that about him, and I think that's the greatest thing ever. But yeah, a lot of people in the comments were not so jazzed about the trade.
Wow.
But
that was an ultimate dad joke right there.
But I think it's because, I don't know, I think some people may have it in their head that that's going to be the only move that they make. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm almost willing, not quite, willing to bet my hair that it's not going to be the only trade. Yeah.
I wouldn't quite do that. But again, this feels like one of those moves. Again, it gives me a lot of confidence. If they make a move for a big time name, it feels like that could have been the last move. But making a move for, again, a really solid depth player. It's an everyday player that's going to put up just above league average numbers.
And he's still young. He's only 26.
He's still very young. 2 years of control left. This feels like a move but it's clearly not a move that they're done with. This is not their last move. And I think that seeing a move like that to be their first move is, a perfect fit, really fits right into the middle of their lineup, can play multiple positions. He plugs a lot of holes that they needed to plug. And overall, again, this doesn't feel like a last move. It doesn't feel like a move that they're going to stop at. it really gives you a lot of confidence moving towards the future of this next 3 days. It really feels like there's a bigger move on the horizon. I hope it's Fairbanks. It's clearly not going to be Paredes at this point because he got moved to the Cubs. I did hear rumors earlier today of Blake Snell. I really hope that's not in the cards just because of his option for next year. But I did hear those rumors. There's gonna be a lot of surprising moves that are made this deadline. I think a lot of teams have been very active very early. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot more moves made.
Yep, it's going to be interesting. And when the moves do happen, you will see shorts from us talking about the moves as they happen. So this is going to be a busy week, and I'm actually glad I'm in a place where everything is set up and I can just plop down and record. It's going to be great.
Yep.
So coming up tomorrow, I guess we're going to be recapping.
Yeah.
Recapping the first game of the Phillies series. If any other trades happen, obviously, we will tell you everything that you need to know about them if we know everything about them, because you never know. It might be one of those like late night kind of trades, or even better, it might, we had a couple of things happen when Steve was with me hosting the show. While we were recording, things would happen, and then we'd start over again, but show our reactions to what was happening. Like when the Verdugo trade happened, we were in the middle of recording, and he's like, well, we have to start over again, but we need to show everyone our reaction. I'm like, okay. So you guys might see that. That could be fun.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right. So that'll do it for this live edition of Locked On Yankees. I would like to thank all of you for joining us for this.
A lot of live listeners again.
Yeah. Very happy occasion because the Yankees actually won 2 out of 3 in Boston and looked good in the last game, looked better in the last game, and looked better toward the end of the Saturday game. And I mean, this could have been a sweep if the bullpen wasn't so terrible on Friday. So kind of feels like that, almost feels like that Milwaukee series, just because the Friday night game was so frustrating, and then they win the second 2.
I don't want to think of that series anymore, though.
I know. And you're just like, so yeah. But anyway, that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. Again, thank you for joining us. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you guys tomorrow at Yankees-Phillies.